All right, week 4, bin number 2. Little bit of condensation. No worms really to speak of. Hey, we got mushrooms. If you saw the first video already for bin 1, I already kind of went through this, but I'll do it again. You see all this? It's not all bad news, but what this indicates is that the fungi that apparently were already in this bin, probably from the leaf mold, have reached a population that they can start to create fruiting bodies. Now, the reason they were able to start creating fruiting bodies is because mycelium was able to start working down into this bedding and get itself rooted so that these could pop up. What that indicates is that the worms, they're not tunneling and eating around here. And so consequently, this is what happens. It's not all bad, but obviously I would much rather that they were eating the mycelium and the fungi than allowing mushrooms to come up. But let's take a look and see what we can see as far as how these guys are here in the bin. Okay, let's try digging around here. Yeah. All right, so see these roots? That's just an indication that the worms are really not active in these areas, and as you can see, now this has been 2. This was the one that had the major evacuation, and I was starting to try to help to repopulate, but that's what ends up happening, guys. But that's okay. This too will become food for the worms. So take all these out and put them over here. There's a lot of it too, boy. Wow. Yep, on all sides of the bin. Okay, so we'll keep that there for now. Let's take a look at the center where we put the flowers last week. Hey, we decided to come up and say hello. A bin 2 worm. Oh, little guy. Flowers are gone just like they were in bin 1. Whether they contributed to what's going on with these fungi or not, I'm not 100% sure. All the more reason I won't be drinking that tea. That's that same stick I found before. Let's see what we got on here. Worms? Nope. I put a handful of them in, which, okay, well, here we go. See right there, here in the material. So they are trying to start to repopulate the bin, which is a good thing. We definitely want that to happen. Yeah, we got a few here now. Okay, that's good. It's not quite the ghost town it was last week. It was disturbing. But I figured it out. I made the big boo-boo, putting them in the wrong bin. Bad horticulturalist. Starting to come back together for this bin. Okay. And because these are much hotter than bin 1, yeah, they're damp and they're moist, but they're not like sopping wet like bin 1 was down at the bottom of the bin. However, I'm still going to add some leaf materials. I just want to check and see on corners. Yeah, as you can see, here's the worms right here. And these guys came in from the corners and the edges. So, yeah. Starting to get the population back up. We'll have to see how bin 3 looks, but This looks okay. Alright. Get these guys out of the way. And put some bedding in. And some food. Look at that little stumpy. Huh. Get you? Maybe I can't. Maybe I can. Hello, guy. Here on my finger. Almost looks like a red wiggler. Huh. Dried brown leaves. Great stuff. Mix this with brown cardboard for your bedding. It makes for some of the best castings you can come up with. Because when you think about what leaves are just nothing more than pure minerals. I mean, think about what a tree does. A tree puts roots down, puts a big, huge taproot down for water, but then it pancakes out its root system all around, and it's just uptaking nutrients. The larger the tree, the more nutrient, the more the leaves receive what it is that it's uptaking, and leaves are just filled with minerals. For that matter, most of the tree is as well. That's why wood ash is so sought after for people who have really acidic soil to try to balance out the pH, because it's so alkaline when it becomes, when you burn wood. Sticks and twigs, I mean, they, if you can snap them with your fingers, just do that, because the smaller they are, the better the chance they have to just get wet and eventually become mush and be consumed. Sometimes they're not quite dry enough. This one. That's okay. Let's get our mushrooms in here. And one other thing, and this was kind of interesting, I looked into this after I saw the fungi that was in last week's video. Apparently, brown cardboard has the highest tendency to have these guys show up out of all the different bedding materials that you really go with. So I didn't even know that. I hadn't had this happen before. It's not the first time I've used just, mostly brown cardboard without any inks or anything like that. But anyway, I found that kind of interesting to learn. It takes me all 5 minutes literally just to walk right out in front of my house and get these guys picked up off the ground, and luckily I can do that practically any time of year. There's always, even in the heat of summer, there's always brown leaf material on the ground. But it's now the first week of October. Our cold season should hopefully be starting here soon. And when that happens, leaves galore. I'll be using a lot of brown leaves as we get into the cold season here. And that's another thing I'm going to talk to you guys about, because we do get a proper winter here in northern Thailand, and by a proper winter, what I mean is it will drop down into the low 50s. For some of you back in the United States and even Europe, wherever it is you may be, that get real winters, like I'm talking snow and below 30 degrees and sometimes in 0 degrees. I know you're gonna laugh, but that's cold for Thailand. You gotta remember, this is mostly a subtropical, tropical land. But yeah, it does get that cold here. And the reason I'm bringing that up is African night crawlers are a tropical worm. They like heat. They do not like cold. In fact, it's not even just a matter of not liking it. It can kill them. And so I'm going to have to come up with something when we get to that point, because I don't know that keeping them in the water tub is going to work. With the cold, there should be a massive reduction in ants and other pests of concern because they just aren't out and around that I've seen over the last few years during the winter. They're only around really when it's hot. So if that turns out to be more fact than theory, what I may end up doing is going with some seedling mats to put underneath the bins, and that way I can control the temperature on them and maybe keep them set at about 80 degrees, because 80 degrees seems to be the sweet spot for these guys. They can go up as high as 100, I've heard. They can get down as low as about 70, but not much below there before they really start having problems. But right about 80 degrees, I've noticed they're just, at least here in the first month, it's hard to believe it's been a month already, but it has. They seem to be most at home at around 80 degrees. And by that I mean I don't see any evacuations. You know, there's no worms trying to get out of the bins. It just, yeah, they seem to be most happy right around that temperature. So I will, it's something I may have to revisit, and obviously I'll bring you guys along with me if and when I do. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm happy that there seems to be a good start on a population again. What I'll do, moving forward with any more evacuees, assuming there are any, and I know there will be, is I will specifically put them in bins 2 and 3, just for right now. Just to try to make sure that I can keep populations balanced in both bins. Because, like I said, bin 1 seems to have the least evacuees because I think it's a lot cooler, and they're pretty happy down there. Okay. That's it for the bedding. Let's get a feeding. Little rice. Isn't that nice? Again, this is just plain steamed white rice, nothing added to it, no salt, which you don't want in your bin. No seasonings of any kind, no oils, just straight old, plain old steamed white rice. You know what? We're going to try a challenge here. I'm going to give it a very large feeding. So I still got a little bit more for bin number 3. And I know that's huge, and you're thinking to yourself, dude, that's too much. Well, it might be. We will find out. I've got to start to heat this bin up a little bit. I've got to start to heat them all up a little bit. And the reason is because, I haven't really put any nitrogen-rich foods in here yet. And that's exactly what's going to happen when the worm food eventually gets finished. I'm going to have a massive amount of heat that's going to be coming in from that food, and I want to make sure these bins are ready before we get there. So we'll start it off with a little bit of rice. It's definitely going to heat the thing up, I have no doubt. Over there. But yeah, I think we're 4 weeks in. I should be able to do this now and hopefully not see too much in the way of evacuation. But we'll see. We'll definitely find out. I'll let you know. Is it a mistake? Is it a success? We'll find out. That is that, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would, please like and share it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I sure would appreciate it if you would do that as well. Hit the bell notification icon so that you can be alerted when I upload new content. And wherever you are in this world today or tonight, take care. Bye for now.